There's that. Oh, did I accidentally?
You accidentally turned off your stream.
Wait, what?
Not your actual stream, but like your like your watch together stream on Discord. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay.
I didn't mean to give you a heart attack.
My heart palpitated.
Just a little.
Just a little. Just a little bit. All right. Just chatting. Thank you, Fall. And here we go. Really?
I was gonna say if you want, I can pull it up because I have YouTube Premium.
So there's a lot of talk about man versus bear. Would you choose the man? Would you choose the bear? How about we talk about that time women chose gorillas? This is Shabani. Shabani is a 27-year-old living in the Hiyashiyama Zoo in Nagoya, Japan, where his face card went viral and caused a direct increase in the number of female visitors. Call him George the way he had these women curious.
Okay, not gonna lie. This gorilla looks like he was trying to rizz us all up.
I'm good, thanks.
I mean, just look at him.
I'm good, thanks. I am so fine.
That's what the gorilla's thinking too.
Shut up!
The gorilla's just like, hey yo, baby.
What's good with it?
What's good?
Fucking what is he pulling a fucking Johnny Bravo?
Oh, mercy. Maybe.
I love my mama.
Mama warned me about girls like you. I was hoping she was right.
Oh, God.
Do the monkey with me.
Face card went viral and caused a direct increase in the number of female visitors. Call him George the way he had these women curious. Last name Clooney, because that's the main guy they compared him to. Oh, and if you couldn't tell, Shabani's also a 400-plus pound primate with a perpetual pump. Not only that, he's a loyal husband with 2 wives and children. That's a family man being lusted after.
God damn.
Some used to describe him were punky, heartthrob, metrosexual, spornosexual. I didn't even know what that meant. One article even asked, quote, would you go for a romp in the jungle with Shabani? Huh?
I'm not going to explain either.
Had women hot and bothered, that's femme flambe. Call him Susan B. Anthony the way he had women showing up to the poll. Just kidding, real ones know gorillas ain't packing anything but a rope. But yeah, Shabani's looks transcended the laws of nature, and if I had a nickel for every time a woman's feelings towards a gorilla made headlines, I'd have 2 nickels. Which is too many more than I should have. One was a frequent visitor at the Blijdorp Zoo in the Netherlands, and her favorite was a silverback named Bakito. Up to 4 times a week, she'd find him, make direct eye contact, and smile. I'm not even gonna explain how much of a middle finger that is. Keepers tried to warn her, but she didn't listen. Her and Bakito, they had a connection. Oh, they connected all right. One day she smiled again and called him constipated because Bakito was not letting that shit slide. Bakito broke out and would proceed to put the beats on her like Afro music. And he jumped over a water-filled ditch to do it. Gorillas hate water. Keto was fed up. He was calmly escorted back home where he lived well for another 16 years until he passed away in April of 2023. His get back on his biggest fan / op was immortalized as a word of the year. And the woman, who I originally felt bad for, apparently didn't get hit hard enough. My first aspiration in life was to be a zookeeper. I even had a state-of-the-art custom virtual simulator to prepare. Yeah, that got that line pretty quick. For reasons. But this video is going to be about probably for reasons. The weird stories, the dirty secrets, and the random trivia the average person would probably know nothing about. Like, what is the most dangerous animal in the zoo? Like,
motherfucker just slapped something that kills more than what lions do.
Born free,
Yep.
USA has a database where you can look up incidents involving exotic animals in America, and if
Okay, guys, listen.
you search up
Hippos are.
I
You
may
don't fuck with hippos.
I may say that I have no balls while playing Aliens Isolation, but this motherfucker has all of the balls.
He stole all yours.
He stole all of mine. He stole all of John Cena's. He stole all of The Rock's. Dave Bautista's looking for the left one. This man has the balls.
I mean, to be fair, how many balls do you need in order to steal land from people in Hawaii?
I'm just saying. I wouldn't do that to a house hippo, let alone a regular hippo. What the fuck? Lupa.
Right? Though I'm not kidding, that actually did happen.
Pup. Okay. Here.
Yeah, no, that actually did happen. That was a thing.
Ugh.
During the Hawaii fires a couple years ago. There's a reason why people don't like The Rock and Oprah now.
Man just about slapped himself to death in front of my croissant.
animal in the zoo. Like, actually, the answer just might surprise you. Actually, probably not. Born Free USA has a database where you can look up incidents involving exotic animals in America, and if you search up animal attacks by any species in any state in an AZA accredited zoo, you'll see that the #1 culprit are big cats. Because out of 101 recorded injuries, they caused 46 or 38%. Elephants were second at just over 17%, but if Bikito proved anything, it's that
I don't care what anybody says. If I see a big cat, my last words are going to be, kitty.
So, there was a local county fair happening, and they brought in ligers.
Ooh.
One was staring down Salty in the eyes, just like, I'm about to make you dinner. You about to be my midnight snackerone.
Uh-huh.
Salty kind of jumped back when it started to roar and then just looked at me. This is the way I want to die.
That's so real. That's so real. Honestly, mood.
Goddamn. Okay. Oh.
Because out of 101 recorded injuries, they caused 46 or 38%. Elephants were second at just over 17%, but if Bikito proved anything, it's that a lot of them had it coming, which is probably why primates earned bronze in brutality at 14%. Reptiles like Komodo dragons and bears like pandas got just over 4%.
Komodo dragons?
Okay. If this is happening, what do you think the first thing you do is?
Take off my shirt?
See, my first thing would be like, somebody cut my fucking shirt. I can cover the chest. I'll let the stomach hang out.
I don't care if my titties show. I'm probably wearing a bra underneath that.
Anything is that a lot of them had it coming, which is probably why primates earned bronze in brutality at 14%. Reptiles like Komodo dragons and bears like pandas got just over 4% each. 9% were marine attacks by animals like orcas, dolphins, and stingrays, and the remaining 13% were just other. Other being something like a kid falling into a rhino enclosure or a woman climbing into a giraffe pen and nearly getting kicked off the census. Now, take it with a grain of salt, because I thought for sure zebras would be up there, but they weren't even on the list. And I know for a fact at least a couple should. But these are attacks. I want to know what zooby's most likely to put a halo on my head. Well, in the same database, if you look at the time a person got put on the shirt at a zoo, accredited or not, big cats did it over 40% of the time, with elephants at a hair under 30, and surprisingly, bears barely even scratched at less than 9%. But here's the thing, if you look at non-accredited zoos, the big cat number grows to 47%, with bears and elephants at 16 apiece. And lastly, in accredited zoos, elephants actually took the lead at 47%. Big cats were the suspect 33% of the time, and bears weren't even on the board. So if you're a zookeeper at a zoo that actually has its stuff together, statistically, if there's any animal that erases you, it's gonna be an elephant. And if the zoo's suspect, best believe a big cat might be your downfall. But also remember, if it does happen, it'll probably be your fault or your coworkers. Now, if you work at a zoo long enough, eventually some animal's gonna escape, whether it's a minor inconvenience like a bunch of meerkats, or a code red dead to rights and murk on site like a chimpanzee. It's gonna happen, and the best reaction is proaction. So some zoos do escaped animal drones, but instead of actual animals, yeah. One
Oh.
zoo will have workers cosplaying as to keep the Madagascar from breaking out. Thank God, 'cause I wanted to tell you what I thought this was.
if you had to be the worker who's
It's a
a
pretty harmless way
furry,
to remind
oh,
everyone what to do when an
I'd
animal
be
gets out.
dying.
That being
Yeah,
said, it's a tragic
Don't.
time to not be sober.
Oh
So,
my
what
god.
animals
I
do
think
most
I'd
likely
actually
to escape?
rather
In
kill
my
myself
non-professional online
in
opinion,
Minecraft.
there's two. If you want to test how good a spot is at keeping the animal in, you should probably hire
Do you think that's what happens to like football mascots when the season's over?
Possibly.
Just throw them all into a zoo?
About a week was how long it took for them to realize that Fouad snagged a wire
If they don't
in
have
his mouth
families,
most of the
possibly.
day and used it to pick his enclosure lock when no one was looking. And Alan was a hairy Houdini who got out so many times that the zoo had to hire rock climbers to find every possible point of exit. They didn't know how he got out, and Ken for sure wasn't about to tell him. And what did he do with all this freedom? Well, when he wasn't wandering the zoo looking at animals like everyone else, he was pelting rocks at another O-ring named Otis, because even at 95% of make room for beef. The other animal is the red panda. Do your homework on how hard it is to keep this red-faced raccoon in. A quick Google search will tell you that a red panda escape has made the news at least once in 1978, 2005, 2007, 2008, 2009, 2012, 2013, and you know what? Probably more. My favorite was Red Panda Rusty slipping out the Smithsonian and walking the streets of Washington, D.C. completely unbothered. So yeah, if your job's
Damn.
I love red pandas. Red pandas are one of my favorite animals ever.
Animals are a great time to work with, and it's often not
Damn, Rusty roaming the streets of DC.
In a zoo, it's a two-tone Labrador with the personality of a lapdog, and they put the zoo in zoomies. Turkey vultures are unironically like precocious toddlers that'll follow their favorite keeper around and play games with them. And cheetahs might just be the most people-proof predator of them all. In fact, almost too much for their own good. Cheetahs get treated like the doormat of the savannah, and their life doesn't become a cakewalk in captivity. Oftentimes, the overgrown house cat is too anxious to even think about making more cheetahs. So, some cheetahs get emotional support dogs. So the dog
Yeah.
The idea is they become a bonded pair, with the cheetah seeing Fido as a role model to mirror and take social cues from. It's literal emotional support, because if the introvert cat sees that the dog isn't stressed or pressed, it allows them to chill out, or at least enough to motivate them to multiply without a calculator. And to make it even more wholesome, a lot of zoos like the one in San Diego will
Multiply
use dogs
without a
rescued from
calculator.
Definitely one of the top 5 animal friendships. And it's not even the only one in San Diego. This is Zari the zebra, also from the San Diego Zoo, and this is her best friend Sophia. You see, Zari doesn't just live there. She's one of the ambassadors for the zoo, spreading smiles and awareness. But I'm also guessing you can't really have your ambassador around other zebras, because let's just say that might not be the best influence. A miniature Mediterranean donkey, and Zari's roommate and best friend. To say they're inseparable would be a massive understatement. And while I can't exactly tell you who's influencing who, just know Zari and Sophia give any cheetah dog duo a run for their money. Now, speaking of role models, have you seen this video of a panda struggling to break bamboo? Well, that's Meng and he's not struggling. The story goes, he was hand-raised by humans his entire life, and while a 250-pound bear might have no problem snapping sticks, a weaker human will. So apparently years of watching his surrogates get humbled by a bamboo somehow taught him that face is necessary to break it.
Aw.
That's adorable.
He realizes he forgot to struggle, just to grimace and continue. Apparently good at Simon Says is one of them. They're also by far the most expensive animal you'll see in a zoo. Any American zoo that wants a panda will have to pay a small annual leasing fee of up to $1 million, along with
Golly.
And we just got 2 of them at the Smithsonian Zoo.
Really?
Yep.
5 times more expensive than second place. And that's literally the biggest
We could
thing
really
alive
be
with
spending
legs.
money on
And
better
best believe
things.
they know it. You might never meet a more high-maintenance mammal. In 2014, the Chengdu research base set up a live stream so viewers could watch expecting mother. These names are killing me. Ai Hin bring
left.
another panda into the world. It was then canceled after it
Morning,
was discovered she
Luna.
had faked her
How are you
pregnancy.
awake
So now the
already?
same
You only
animal that
slept
had
for
his
like
brain
2
most
hours.
likely-
Yeah.
If they can play pregnant even after the hormones wear off,
Luna.
they can finesse preferential treatment. And they're not wrong. Any future mother pandas are moved to a single with AC. They get round-the-clock care and more fruits and bamboo.
Allow me
Quite
to,
frankly, I don't blame the bears for working smarter. But it gets even crazier. Did you know pandas can be bougie? Mei
What?
Lun and Mei Hun were two pandas born and
Oh,
raised
just
in
look at
the
my
zoo, but
look at
were
my
sent back to China in
YouTuber real quick.
2013. The only problem? They refused to eat any traditional.
Bougie ass pandas. You know, maybe they should learn from their cousins, the trash pandas.
That's fair. Both to the trash pandas and for Luna's message saying I can't sleep, debating on whether or not I could get away with just joining back in office, going back in office and rejoining.
Look, Luna. Luna, trust me. You do not want to incur punishment.
Chinese cereals, only
Okay.
American. They were not rocking with the what without. They wanted biscuits and cookies.
Biscuits and cookies?
Do I need to bring out the child locks again?
But thanks to inflation, they decided to cut costs by switching to a cheaper alternative, Saba. And wouldn't you know,
Okay, so just watch until you go back to sleep.
Them and the
Of-
others refused to substitute. You see, that's the part of zookeeping they don't tell you. All that time spent preparing fish, slaving away while the stench of your profession dents your social life, just for an uppity tuxedo chicken to choose hunger strike. Man, you know they don't get paid enough for that. Literally, the only compromise was mixing the cheap fish with the aji. As you can see, some animals are way more high maintenance than others, but some are too difficult to even exist in zoos. Think about it. Think of all the zoos you've ever been to and try to see if you can come up with any notable absences.
Huh.
Okay, time's up. When's the last
I
time you
can't
saw a
really
moose?
Oh.
say I've never been to the
Oh.
zoo.
Me, probably never. You've probably seen bison, bears, bobcats, cougars.
He's right.
I know I could speak on wolves, but no moose. Why? Moose have specific
Oh,
eyes that
moose?
look like a
No,
tiger,
you will
but
never see a
eat like
moose
one.
in
Really, you can
zoo.
do everything right. They can still pass tense in a few years. And apparently feeding an antler warrior that can't even survive a president's term is a bad investment. So are leopard seals. You'll likely never see the Alp of Happy Feet in the zoo. Narwhals can literally die of social anxiety, so they're out. Tarsiers sometimes seppuku themselves in captivity, so that's a no-go. And they say dietary restrictions are why proboscis monkeys are rare in zoos. I call bullshark. It's definitely because Schnazi might be the most inappropriate animal to take your kids to see. And yes, my head's here for a reason. I'm not about to catch an age restriction over an overexposed lipstick dispenser.
Shit.
Or they could just use fake animals, because it's not like that hasn't happened before. In 1987, a zoo in China was exposed for painting a sun bear and presenting it as a panda. That's
Luna,
a
I do not
sun
care
bear,
if you're
by the
bored.
way.
What?
In 2018,
Keep the thing
Thailand was
on.
same, except they had a donkey
Keep
in Singapore.
keep the
2013,
stream on
we're back in China, except this
in the
controversy was
background
about their
and
resident African lion.
use
Where's
it
the lion?
as background noise to go
Did
back to
y'all even
sleep.
try?
Luna's
Ladies,
not bored of this, by the way.
ladies and gentlemen, I give you an African lion.
It looks like a porcupine.
It's a dog.
I mean, not a porcupine. I meant to say a Pomeranian.
This was on display in a Chinese zoo.
That's hilarious.
By
A
far, my
Pomeranian?
favorite counterfeit creature story is
These dogs are advertised as panda dogs. They're just dogs, okay? According to Chinese state media, the zoo
It's
confirmed
just
that
a
the dogs were
Pomeranian.
like pandas to fill in the blank of not having actual pandas.
You know, if I took time out of my day and spent my hard-earned money to go see a panda and got this, I'd probably go and spend more. Man, they got pandas from Temu. I can't
That's
even
so
do that.
real.
Obviously, people are usually
Pandas from Timu.
Well, someone did, and a study from Nottingham Trent and Harper Adams University studied over 250 animals in zoos to see how their behaviors changed around human company. Using hours of observation and research, they found that the animal most excited to see people at zoos, and I really hope this is true, were elephants. Elephants show
Aw.
positive reactions to large groups of people, becoming more active, more playful, and overall seeming to have a better time when humans were around. The other people-happy animals included cheetahs, jaguars, penguins, grizzly bears, polar bears, a cow called a batang, servals, and black-tailed prairie dogs. And on the other side, the animals that seemed to like human company the least were hedgehogs, ostriches, marsupials like kangaroos, ungulates like giraffes and antelopes, and probably most random of all, the tuatara. They have 3 eyes and apparently none of them want to see us. As for the rest, the vast majority of animals had no reaction. The study does raise an interesting question, and that's how the pandemic affected zoo animals. Believe it or not, some animals actually started to miss people. The worldwide panoramic left elephants confused and disappointed, birds like kias and cockatoos missed the attention, and you even had apes like chimps actively looking for missing visitors. And while the shutdown gave us gems like penguins exploring empty aquariums, or a sea lion getting introduced to a tegu, by far the best story to come out was what happened in a Japanese aquarium. You see, the eels in Tokyo Sumida Aquarium were used to people, but the pandemonium turned them back people shy, and those same eels would now hide in the sand whenever a worker or someone would walk past. The problem is, that made it almost impossible to check up on them and keep them healthy. The solution was the aquarium asked people to FaceTime their eels to refamiliarize them with people, like some exposure therapy. There was a legitimate time where you could have gone on a date with an antisocial eel, and the worldwide Panera brought a lot of bad, but this was definitely a bright spot. But now, zoos are back open, so here's some hacks to get the most out of your experience. Animals are going to be most active on cooler, cloudier days, and they usually peak as soon as the doors open. Also, you're going to want to aim for a random weekday, since the less crowded the better. Try it. If you can be there the next overcast 10 a.m. on a Tuesday, I swear you'll see a different zoo. And if you're a cat person, you might want to wear some Calvin Klein. No, seriously, the Klein is a favorite for cats of all kinds, from cheetahs to cougars, from lions to leopards. In fact, researchers have caught wild jaguars on camera by dousing the trap in obsession for men. So next time you're at the zoo and end up in big cat country, go ahead and spritz some of the Klein and see what happens. But yeah, that's gonna do it for this video.
Calvin Klein is catnip for big cats.
For 15 minutes, that I can't
Apparently.
possibly care about animals if I still go to them. Here's my take. I've always said that zoos are capable of a lot of good and a lot of bad, but a lot of them are an invaluable resource for conservation and awareness. And while I agree, there are some species that are just not built for zoos. A majority of them are there because they literally would be worse off in the wild. Przewalski's horse was basically halfway down the grave, but it was the work of zoos that helped bring them back from the brink. Same thing with the California condor, and about a dozen more. And spare a thought for zookeepers. They're overworked, underpaid, usually overqualified. And like I said, the smell isn't just something they leave at the office. Not all zoos are created equal, and it's at best lazy, and at worst almost dangerous to put them all in the same boat. But
Yeah.
Yap and drink water, hug your mother, support your local zoo, just make sure it's accredited. Matter of fact, give a zookeeper a hug. Who knows how much they need it? And I'ma see y'all in the next one.
Alright.
Learning about zoos is fun.
One more. Oh my lord. Well,
Show me someone who's never seen this with their eyes, and I'll show you a child that got left behind. The school system's failing, and this is proof. Did you know the average kid in America doesn't know about this harmonizing homunculus? Arguably one of the greatest gifts nature ever gave. Yet they remain disrespected and unaccepted. Well, not today, you know. Someone has to stand up for this comic relief, rough draft, auditory onslaught of a primate, and you already know I will. I mean, that's a given. You're probably familiar with the great apes, but they include gorillas, chimps, bonobos, i.e. chimps with a different R rating, and this guy.
oh.
Together, along with humans, they make up the Great Ape group. Great Ape. The name only an ape could come up with. But along the way, someone got snubbed, and this is actually live footage of it happening.
You are freaking
Great Apes.
plus Mark. You know what I'm saying? Which I'm rocking with Mark
Look
because
at
Mark is
Marcus,
rocking with us.
Marcus.
Yeah, Gibbons got gate-kept from the Great Ape lunch table. Science says it's because of their
Oof.
lower size, lower intelligence. Ouch. And real talk, I think they're just too goofy for the other apes to want to be associated. But being tailless means Gibbons aren't monkeys either, and instead got classified as lesser apes. That's already flagrantly
Poor
false.
Gibbons.
There are species of lesser apes. They're all Gibbons. Apparently, this drunk toddler of an ape was such an affront to the family, folks created an entirely new category to put them in and slap them with the lesser label. Well, I'm gonna argue this tiger taunting, vocal cord flaunting, terminally trolling, usually barrel rolling primate might just be the prime ape. Now, to be fair, gibbons are that one weird kid in class. They're like the missing link between apes and monkeys, but
Guys, I'm the gibbon. I'm the gibbon. I'm that weird. I'm that one weird kid. I'm the gibbon. Is that why they named Gibby Gibby?
Oh, not Gibby. Oh, Lord.
if evolution went on a side quest, gibbons break a lot of the rules of being an ape. They have low sexual dimorphism, meaning the males and females are about the same size. They don't build nests to sleep. They put in about as much effort as pigeons. They're monogamous, allegedly. We'll get to that. And they basically spend their entire lives.
Allegedly?
Could have sworn they let the O-ring slide for that, but
Allegedly.
that's none of my business. They're also anatomical anomalies with a wingspan worthy of an infringement lawsuit against Go Gadget. We call them lesser, but let's be glad they're still
Go
alive.
Gadget,
Uncovering a
blink a
fossil that
boot.
could jump rope its own skeleton, that Jumanji junk would have put us in another pandemic. You don't realize how long a gibbon's arms
Go,
are until, well,
Gadget arm.
one, but also until you put them next to a person for scale. But having joints longer than a prohibition for Peter Griffin is great for one thing, and it's kind of the thing gibbons are known for. Like I said, gibbons are completely arboreal, and there's actually a name for how they get from A to B. Brachiate. Calling it monkey bars is an insult. If you did this as a kid, you were on gibbon timing. These branch-loving acrobats are the fastest things in the trees without wings. At 35 miles per hour, the tree goblin can brachiate fast enough to get pulled over in a school zone. And they'll yeet themselves up to 30 feet between trees.
Ooh.
Get a leap of faith that's a leap of fortune. Specialized shoulders and wrists allow them to treat the jungle as their personal gym. It also helps that they're built like a CrossFit cryptid with the longest arms of any ape. If the average 5'4" woman adopted its build, she'd flex a 10'7" wingspan. And if you lived like one, you'd be parkouring off the cables of the Brooklyn Bridge. But they're not free from fall damage, and it's estimated most gibbons break a bone at some point in their lives. Gets even crazier when you realize mothers will pull these stunts with a whole baby in tow. And speaking of babies, you know how we always say animals use play as preparation for the life they'll live? Baby gibbons will not only learn to brachiate by chasing each other through the trees, they'll also intentionally let go of branches to catch themselves. But what even makes gibbons play a lifelong game of floor is lava? Well, like orangutans, they realize it's way safer to have your ops be gravity and time than touch tiger country downstairs and get murked by a feline.
I mean,
Because gibbons
yeah.
would rather run away than run a
Yeah.
Huh? Gibbons are actually extremely territorial, and that, along with them having a 99 agility stat, is how you get the only animal alive that can vibe check a tiger and live to do it twice. Technically, it's mobbing behavior meant to drive away a predator using the power of parkour, but the execution makes them move like Spider-Man minus morale. They're morale-less, but the only miles is how far they can drive a striped delete. Show me a great ape that can taunt a tiger. Many have tried. Most have died. A whole apex predator and twig ninja just ear-pulled them like a delinquent. And they don't play favorites. Gibbons have also been recorded harassing clouded leopards getting too close, although I'm pretty sure that one was trying to sleep and got hit with a long arm of audacity. Because if you think they only use their powers for protection, gibbons are the most unapologetic trolls in the animal kingdom. We told them they're the great ape's little brother, and now they done made it their personality. No other way to explain this. Porcupines are better protected against lions than versus a tree-happy instigator. Even a so-called great ape can end up looking pretty stupid around.
Run away.
Gibbons are an impulsive thought come to life. They don't think it, they just do it.
Chat, I am the
They
gibbon.
don't think it, they just do it.
Chat, I am the gibbon. All the no brain.
No thoughts, head empty.
No, they have thought, just no brain to back it up.
Fair. I'm more like a crow. I have a brain. I just tend to use it for puzzles and nothing else. Also shiny.
Oh, this cute fluffy thing looks like it wants to kill me. Let me antagonize it.
I'm more of the let me pet it proclivity. But yeah, for proof of the crow claim, allow me to show you.
Uh-oh.
Go. Just I sent it in the VC chat. Those pearls, not from the same bag.
Oh. Well then.
I like rocks. I like shiny rocks.
Fun fact, this is the
Me
man
too,
who- that's
Gibbon.
Ringo, and they even warn you to stay off the glass because he'll literally injure himself trying to jump
Speaking
scare
of
you.
shiny
Your nature
rocks,
made
there
you
is
crack,
no
and if you
shiny
only
rocks,
go
I
alive,
just
then
need
you
to
go
put on
mad for playing
deodorant.
with a cat.
Click.
With zero regard for feline rights, you've never seen a cat this outmatched. And they'll easily play Matador with your dog. I love it because there's no scientific reason for them to be like this other than Gibbons are all about the dickery, except with mice. You know, put a mouse in front of them and things suddenly stop being funny. But with arms like that, they'll always keep it humorous. But there is one animal that forms the most unlikely friendship with them. Or maybe not, because on paper, gibbons and orangutans actually have a lot in common. They live in the same area code, they're both for the trees, and orangutan actually translates to man of the forest. At the same time, some, like the Hulak gibbon, have been affectionately nicknamed the little man of the forest. But their personalities are so opposite, they honestly belong in a buddy comedy. Gibbons are hyper-athletic, flyweight, and the fastest-moving animals in the trees.
Can't relate,
Always
Luna.
are
There was a
guardians
reason
and
why my
mascots
nickname
of
was
stoicism,
Princess.
man. And yo, I swear they could talk, they just don't want to deal with taxes. Polar opposites, yet time and time again, wild gibbons and orangutans have been caught playing with each other. I like to think the fact that they don't compete for the same foods means they don't really have a reason to have beef, and a lot of zoos will actually assign them together.
I shit you not, one time I was just drawing outside, sketching on like a regular sketchbook,
I think you know who pulled the strings for that.
traditional
You
art
think orangs will
style,
find a
Yeah.
and then a bird
Gibbons
just
annoying, and that gibbons might find Bigfoot's
flew down
understanding
and just
intimidating.
sat on
But
my
not
knee.
only do they play with each other, they even trust each other
and
with
then
their
just
own
stayed there
children.
for like an
Orangs have
hour.
quite the obsession with baby gibbons, and gibbons really be rocking with an infant Cheeto ape. There's even one gibbon in the Brookfield Zoo that'll leave his enclosure just to visit the orangutans next door. But there's at least one other ape gibbons bond with. In some places, wild gibbons will actually become habituated with humans to the point where they'll regularly drop by and groom their favorites. Galia was a Hulak gibbon who was famous because every day, she'd come down from the trees, hobble over to the locals, and provide a free hour-long salon service, starting with Bhupeshwar Ningda, the man who protected her as an orphan. It hits different when you realize grooming is how gibbons reinforce social bonds in a family. Now, it is bittersweet since it likely took her entire actual family getting put on a shirt for her to get to that point, and we'll get back to that. But I'd say that's pretty damn great for a lesser ape. Even dogs aren't immune to a gibbon act of goodwill. And now that you're familiar with them, I think we can go ahead and meet all the types of gibbons, or as many as my attention span will allow. This is a Siamang. They're the
Real.
heavyweights of the gibbons at a whopping 30 pounds. They're the ones with that throat scrub, or as I like to call it,
Throat
their
scrub.
testicle. It's a pouch that works like an amplifier to broadcast their call. And clearly nature had an off day when it spawned a frog monkey.
Oh,
that
so
looks
it's like
one
a
of Ben's
toad
10.
thing?
As much as
Yeah.
I love them, this would be terrifying to have fly over your head. It's a reminder that even the comic relief of the apes could scramble your face if they really wanted to. But I think nature knew it animated Slenderman's shadow a little too well, because it went ahead and gave them the most unserious vocal stim you've ever heard.
Me.
This is a northern white-cheeked gibbon, which definitely, for sure, is not venom, no matter how hard you try to perceive otherwise. And in case you're curious, the babies are all born white. After about a year or two, they turn black. The males stay that way, but the females eventually revert back to their cream colorway, proving the once widely accepted scientific theory wrong. You can go back. This is a sky
Damn.
and yes, they were discovered in 2017 by a group of scientists who apparently love Star Wars that much. The namesake of Luke was found in Myanmar, Southeast Asia, and it's believed there's less than 200 of them. But they're not as bad as the Hainan gibbon, which isn't just the rarest ape, but one of the mammals closest to getting discontinued, with less than 40 of them. Crazy thing is, it used to be worse. They went from a couple thousand in the 1950s to where you could count on both hands how many were left by the 70s. Again, we got the Hulak gibbon. I like their face. The silvery gibbon. I like their hair. Good thing they max out at 2 feet. Any taller, we'd be having Yeti conversations. And the pileated gibbon, because in my opinion, they have the coolest call.
Oh, sorry, that's my car.
Now, at this point, you might be wondering, why do gibbons call at all? Well, that's the second thing they're known for. The reason for it, well, you have a lock on your door, some have a gate, but gibbons, nah, they mark territory off straight. It's actually the same reason male lions roar, to tell outsiders that they best keep it that way. Except gibbons will often do it as a duet, and sometimes they'll get the kids involved and make it a family matter. And they'll usually do it in the crotch of dawn. If you live next to a zoo with gibbons, you've definitely heard it. And remember, they're territorial, so if you hoot back at them, you might just end up going band for band with a broadcasting tree siren. Hey,
Goddamn.
Yeah, post-production cashier. Don't do that. Not only will you offend them, it's like showing teeth to a gorilla, but gibbons are capable of doing something about it. In 2011, a gibbon escaped a Malaysian zoo after being taunted and severely mauled a child. And while I will spare you all the details, I will say his mom had to carry pieces of his thigh in a plastic bag. The odds are low, but they're not serious.
Damn.
So yeah, best keep the singing to the gibbons. It's a big deal for them. They spend actual years of their lives perfecting it. It's very much giving albatross marriage dance. In some species, Mama Gibbon will help her daughters practice with their version of singing lessons, where the daughter tries to match her mother's pitch. For male gibbons, they learn by imitating the male figures around them. After years in the lab, they're able to come together and make the sound you've heard in every movie's jungle scene ever. There's something about the fact that males and females spend years perfecting their songs, and when they do come
Sorry, that one
songs
wasn't.
just fit each other perfectly. These duets become a verbal vow renewal as the songs help reinforce their pair bond. And that's the third thing gibbons are known for. They're the only apes that are monogamous. Can you imagine a gibbon seeing another gibbon and just making it work? No other ape, not gorillas, chimps, definitely not bonobos. And you know most humans ain't about that. Entanglements be damned. Except, yeah, about that. So the whole monogamy thing came from researchers watching a group and witnessing that they're only getting active with each other. Except what they didn't realize was by being around these gibbons constantly, the gibbons eventually got used to the people and would get way closer than they usually would. The problem is the other gibbons that weren't as chill with humans would see this and treat the human habituated gibbons like the plague and avoid them at all costs. Honestly, good for them. But if gibbons do mess around on their partners, the researchers basically block them from doing it. Also, any cheater can look loyal for the weeks or months the researchers spent watching them. So, Brian Palombit decided to study a gibbon family for 6 years, and this time, instead of habituating themselves to just one pair, pretty much all the groups in the area were habituated, meaning they could truly study gibbon free will. And when I tell you it was Real Housewives of Indonesia out there, I'm gonna tell you a story, but it will get messy, so I'm gonna need you to
Wait,
lock
what?
in or you will get lost. So it starts with 2 gibbon families.
Okay. Let's
Do I need to
Let's-
pull up my notes?
lock in, everybody here. Ooh.
Okay, give me a second. I got a note. I got note cards here. Here's that one. No, my Apple Pen. Give me a second. My Apple Pen fell on the floor, and I don't. My arms aren't that long.
All right, we were told to lock in.
All right,
All right,
I'm ready.
here we go. And
Each one had a subadult, basically meaning they could truly study gibbon free will. And when I tell you it was Real Housewives of Indonesia out there, I'm gonna tell you a story, but it will get messy, so I'm gonna need you to lock in or you will get lost. So it starts with 2 gibbon families.
2
Each
gibbon
had a subadult,
families.
basically a teenager, and one had a teenage male and the other a teenage girl. And we're still talking about gibbons. Both teenagers left their respective families, got together, and found a new territory to live in. And that's when stuff got weird, because the teenage guy gibbon also had 2 younger juvenile brothers, and for reasons beyond me, they moved in with Big Bro and his girl. To Palombit, that was already cause to pause, but it got wicked once the adult male from the female gibbon's original group, i.e. her father, disappeared. Because apparently a parent in past tense is a canon event. Well, with a sudden power vacuum, guess who filled in? Yeah, the same subadult male along with his baby brothers all moved into the female's group, and the teenager took his girl's dad's place. He then just moved back and forth between the 2 spots, meaning Mans was monkey branching from his original girl to her mother. And in what's a lot more common than you might think, the mother and daughter had serious beef, and when things finally got too hot and the male had to pick a side, he chose the mother and fully moved in. The mom would have a baby that was likely fathered by her daughter's ex. As for the subadult daughter, that was the last time Palombit saw her. If there's a moral in this story, one that gibbons might find Bigfoot's understudy intimidating. But not only do they play with each other, they even trust each other with their own children. Orangs have quite the obsession with baby gibbons, and gibbons really be
why
popular
did we
within
go
the
back
Finnish
this
village.
far?
There's even one gibbon in the prison for reasons beyond me. They moved in with Big Bro and his girl. To Palombit, that was already cause to pause, but it got wicked once the adult male from the female gibbon's original group, i.e. her father, disappeared. Because apparently a parent in past tense is a canon event. Well, with a sudden power vacuum, guess who filled in? Yeah, the same sub-adult male along with his baby brothers all moved into the female's group, and the teenager took his girl's dad's place. He then just moved back and forth between the two spots, meaning Mans was monkey branching from his original
Baby mama
girls
drama
even
if I
longer.
ever heard
And
it.
what's
Right?
a lot more common than you might think, the mother and daughter had serious
Okay, maybe I'm not a gibbon.
He chose the mom that fully lived in. The mom would have a baby that was likely fathered by her daughter's ex. As
You're
for the
not into your
sub-adult daughter,
mother-in-law?
that was
No.
the last time Palumbo saw her. If there's a moral in this story, one
The
way or another,
feminine no was all
Gibbons
I
gonna
need.
find a way to swing. There was also that time one in the Kujukushima Zoo in Nagasaki had people questioning everything after 12-year-old Momo got pregnant while being housed with exactly 0 men. They thought it was an immaculate conception. Folks thought she spawned Gibbon Jesus, until they did a DNA test and found the father was 34-year-old Ito, who thankfully was also a Gibbon. They still had no idea how they did the do, until they found a 9mm hole in a steel plate between enclosures. That's 9mm. He really wanted that glory. The whole time we called them lesser when really we're not that much better than Gibbons. I don't care what the literature says, they're great to me. Especially since we've probably done Gibbons dirtier than any other ape. Remember Talia?
Goodness.
Well, not only did she lose her family, but after a kid taunted her with a slingshot and she finally bit back, the boy's father came after her with a shovel and she lost her life. This kind of thing actually happens a lot to Gibbons. Not only do they get their homes knocked down and trees removed, a lot of times they get reduced to pets. It's to the point where virtually every gibbon is flirting with extinction. In fact, some like the hyena might as well be in bed with it. I don't like ending the video like this, but I feel like gibbons being so overlooked makes it that much easier for the atrocities against them to get buried. And if we don't lock in and spread the word, Nature's one-man comedy special will be canceled in our lifetime. But then again, does it not make sense for the comic relief to have the most tragic backstory? At the end of the day, gibbons prove that you might not be a great ape, but you're still a great ape. But anyway, that's gonna do it for this video. Make sure you drink water, hug your mother, support your local gibbons, and one last thing to take home. But this is important. Always remember to...
Oh,
I felt the
right?
because boy oh boy is my ugh.
All right. Let's check on this. Okay. We're gonna... But sir, I don't have a local gibbon. Well, you better find one. Find a local gibbon. Give him the
I don't know.
gibby old...
I've never been to the zoo actually.
Really?
Uh-huh.
You don't
I
have...
might have been once when I was really little, but I've never been.
You don't have, like, one close to you?
I do, but I don't have money or a car.
Money makes sense for, like, the smaller zoo. I know that, like, the St. Louis Zoo, they, are actually free.
I don't live in the Midwest. I live in the South.
I mean, I was just throwing it out there.
I appreciate it. I'm gonna check real quick to see, actually. I'm not saying what the closest one to me is, because that'd be
Right.
stupid. Tickets. Parking is $12. I'm trying. And then price per ticket is $20. So it'd be $32.
Okay.
And I'm not even shitting you, that is the exact amount of cash that I have in my bank account right now. Alrighty, let me go
Alright.
ahead and get Power Wash Simulator booted up real quick.
Alright, and while you do that, I'm going to, get up, move around, use the bathroom.
Alrighty. Do what you gotta.
Good note for everybody else to do the same.
Yep. Alrighty, quick question for you real quick. Oh, he already left. Oh, okay. Right? Um, possibly both. I'm gonna recommend, in terms of like you being nauseous, Luna, I'm gonna recommend that you go get like a little snack of like some bread or maybe some crackers, like some crackers if you have any. Um, and then go lay back down. And maybe a small glass of water too. Welcome back, Rem. That was my ring that just hit the desk. Okay. Tell the kidnappers to put Neo on the phone so I know he's alive. Otherwise, I'm not sending the ransom. I don't know. The kidnappers haven't messaged me yet, so I don't know what's happening. Ugh. I needed to pop my ears, but popping your ears while your nose is stuffed is an interesting experience. Made my eyes water. Oh my god. They really are bad at this kidnapping thing. I'm just sitting here. Ugh. Should I get my nail file? Like, honestly. Fuck it. I'm grabbing my nail file thing. Yeah, I get that sometimes. I don't need to blow my nose super often, thank God. But when I do, I hate it because that always happens. Yeah, I mean, even with Neo being a delight, I'd still like to have my co-host back.